Japan says copyright does not apply to AI model training. Australia asks its citizens if AI should be banned. And an AI camera without a lens. Welcome back to the AI Breakdown Brief, all the AI headline news you need in 5 minutes or less. Remember, as always, you can get this as a newsletter at theaibreakdown.beehive.com. We kick off today with news out of Japan in what might be an important precedent. Earlier this year, Getty Images sued Stability AI. Basically, they alleged that the creator of Stable Diffusion had trained their model on some 12 million images that were owned by Getty proprietarily. You might remember when this came out, and there was this sort of little Getty watermark that appeared to be in some of the Stable Diffusion outputs. Well, new thinking in Japan would basically nullify Getty's claim in that case. In a recent public meeting, the Japanese Minister of Education, Culture, Sports, Science, and Technology said that the country would not enforce copyright law when it came to training AI models. Now, reporting around this is somewhat sparse, but it seems as though Japan is concerned that worries about copyright have been holding it back relative to international competitors when it comes to the development of AI, and they see this non-enforcement of copyright laws when it comes to training models as a way to get out ahead. Now, could this create a global precedent? It's hard to say, but it's certainly an interesting evolution when it comes to a key area of law as relates to AI. Speaking of APAC countries and AI rules, Australia has just introduced 2 new research papers around AI, as well as an 8-week consultation period designed to get feedback from Australian citizens. Australia is no stranger to AI policy, first publishing voluntary ethics principles in 2018, but now it seems like lawmakers are wondering if tougher laws are needed. Industry and Science Minister Ed Husic said there is clearly in the community a concern about whether or not the technology is getting ahead of itself. Governments have got a clear role to play in recognizing the risk and putting curbs in place. As part of the consultation, Australia is saying that its interventions could range all the way from voluntary ethical principles and technical standards to bans, prohibitions, and moratoriums. Next up, some really interesting research called GPT-4 tools. We've discussed on this show how multimodal is the future of LLMs. In other words, AI models that are able to move between different modalities, from images to text and back and forth, and even including audio, video, etc. GPT-4 tools is an approach to teaching large language models of the open source variety, things like Llama, how to use tools to develop multimodal capacities in a way that doesn't require huge amounts of computing power or data input. I use the new ChatGPT share feature as well as the Xpapers plugin to provide a simplified analysis of the paper, including a bullet point overview of what it said, how the training was conducted, what the low-rank adaptation technique is, and what the real-world use cases of this might be, including customer service bots, content creation, education and training, accessibility tools, data analysis, research and development, and more. The TLDR for the sake of this brief is that multimodal continues to be the cutting edge when it comes to LLM research, and more than ever, people are thinking about not just how big companies that have unlimited resources and huge amounts of data can train multimodal models, but how different techniques can be used to train open source versions of those models as well. Last up today, people are absolutely loving this new AI camera that has no lens. Paragraphica is a different type of camera that is designed for an AI world. So instead of using a lens to capture an image of what's right in front of you, it instead uses location data as well as weather data, time data to create a prompt that then generates an AI image. So for example, a midday photo taken at Cliffordstraat, Amsterdam. The weather is partly cloudy and 18 degrees. The date is Wednesday, 24th of May, 2023. Nearby there is parking and a yoga studio. On the left where he stood with the camera, and on the right the image that was produced. Now, on the viral Twitter thread where Bjorn Karmann introduced the Paragraphica, there was a little exchange that I thought was extremely reflective of the current state of the AI discourse. Tariq Khan responds to Bjorn and says, "What is the purpose behind this? Do you think that this is helping anyone? Does this make our society better? Or does it make it more inauthentic and synthetic? You ought to really consider this path and your motivations, and more importantly, the effect it could have." Ratioing that comment was a response from PHABC, who posted a version of the mid-twit meme where the middle said, "No, you can't be creative, have fun and build things unless they move humanity forward." And in the meanwhile, the 0.1% on the bottom say this is fun, and the 0.1% at the top say this is fun. Now, while I disagree with Tariq here in the specifics, I do think it's important to have these discussions, so I'm not discouraging at all. You just gotta love a good meme. Anyways, guys, that is it for today's AI Breakdown brief. If you were enjoying, please like, subscribe, and share, and I will be back soon for the main AI Breakdown.